Hi, my friend. Are you ready to be found online wherever your dream clients are searching? Are you looking to make your marketing make sense? Do you want to be able to confidently make decisions about your marketing so that you can stop wasting your time and money and really know what to focus on to grow your business? If so, you are in the right place, and I am so excited to have you here. Let's jump right in. Hi, and welcome back to the podcast. This is the last new episode of 2025. I am so excited to jump into this one with you, and then we're going to have a couple weeks break as we go into the holiday season. I'm taking holiday vacation with my family. I'm actually off as of today. So I am excited to share this with you, and then I am enjoying a couple weeks off and we'll be back in January. So today I wanted to talk to you about the marketing metrics that really matter and those that don't matter, because we've talked the last couple weeks about marketing your business online and how to kind of set up your funnel and how to plan for next year and how to find the right kind of content ideas your customers care about and marketing strategies you can use and how to stop wasting time. Like, we've talked a lot recently about marketing, because in January, we've got the Confident Marketers Club opening up, and I'm so excited to have you join me in there and really unravel your marketing so that you can really become a confident marketer and move forward and make decisions based on the data that's available to you and get yourself to a point where you know that you're converting organically and you are ready to grow and scale your business and really make an impact in the world. So one of the most important things to understand is your marketing metrics and what numbers we want to track. So we're going to start by looking at the very first step of your sales funnel, which is going to be your traffic and your visibility. Because if people don't know who you are, if they can't find your website, if they can't find you online, you're not going to grow. So you want to think about the traffic sources that you're using to market your business. So are you on social media? Do you have a podcast like I do? Do you focus on blogging? Do you create content for your website? Where are you putting your message out there to try to attract the right customer and bring those dream clients into your world? So that's the first thing we want to think about, is where are you marketing your business? So go ahead and jot down, where are you marketing your business? Where is your traffic or your visibility coming from? Then we want to look to understand the nurture stage of your funnel. So we want to think about, how are people engaging? So we want to get them to the point that they know who you are. Now we need to get them onto your email list. And this is where we're going to look at the emails. So we want to understand, where is the traffic or the visibility coming from? And then how many of those people are becoming leads? How many of those people are joining your email list? So we're going to want to look at things like the traffic coming from Google, the traffic coming from social, all of that. We're not just looking at how many people follow me on social, because that number could go up or down every day, but it could make no difference to your business bottom line. What we want to look at is, of the people who follow us on social, how many are actually coming over to our website? How much traffic are we getting from social? Because remember, social is all about building the social media channel. It's not about building your business. So we want to look at that and think about that. So when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about, how are they interacting with your website? How are they interacting with your business? So now we've got traffic and visibility. Now we're getting into the email metrics. This is the leads. So of the people who are seeing your business on some channel online, how many of them are becoming leads for your business? So you want to look here, you want to look at your opt-in landing page conversion. So you want to see at least 30% of the people who visit your landing page should opt in. That tells you you have a healthy opt-in rate. What does that mean? That means that if you have 30 people sign up for your opt-in, your freebie, out of every 100 who visit the page, you're probably doing pretty good. If your opt-in rate is 10 out of 100, something's not working and we need to troubleshoot that. Now, if you've already decided you're joining me in the Confident Marketers Club, we're going to troubleshoot that together. I'm going to help you figure out, and we're going to review the different pieces and figure out what to change. Now, let's say that you're also using paid ads for your freebie or your opt-in. We're going to want to look at a couple different things here so that we understand, are we making money from those ads? So you're going to want to look at your CPL, which is your cost per lead. You need to make sure that it's low enough that your entire funnel is profitable, because your conversion rates are going to be fairly low, especially with cold traffic. We generally see 1% to 2% of all leads are going to buy in a cold traffic funnel. That means 1 or 2 out of every 100 people who get your opt-in, get your freebie, sign up, etc., are going to buy. So that means we want to keep that cost per lead low enough that you are able to sell, you're able to generate enough leads and still be profitable. So for example, you sell a $27 product and you have a 1% conversion rate, your leads need to be under 27 cents each to break even, because 0.27 times 100 is $27. And remember, if you have a 1% conversion, you're getting 1 sale out of every 100 leads. So you don't have much room there for an ad spend. You also don't have much room for profitability. This is why so many people lose money with ads, is because we don't really understand all the numbers to look at. Now, let's say you convert at 10%, you have more wiggle room because your cost per lead can go up to $2.70 on average, and you're still going to break even, but you're not yet profitable. So that's why you really have to understand the different numbers there. Paid ads definitely add more complexity to your overall marketing, which is why I always say, make sure that you're converting organically. You're hitting all your conversion points organically before you start doing ads, because once you add in paid ads, now we have to look at the cost per lead. We have to look at the landing page. We have to look at the cost per lead. We have to look at the click rate. We have to look at the landing page conversion rate. We have to look at, if there's a webinar funnel, the webinar sign up, the webinar show up, like all the different steps of the funnel to figure out exactly where we're at and what the overall conversion rate is, to make sure that we're not just spending money on ads to bring in customers that are going to be too expensive to break even. I've had it happen to me. Everybody has. The way that you become confident is that you understand the numbers. And so you can look at it and you can say, this number is getting to be too expensive. I can't afford to do this. So that's something to think about from an ads standpoint. You need to understand the numbers in your ads funnel. Now, when we're talking about email metrics, we want to understand more than the open rate. We really want to understand the click-through rate, because the open rate, as we've talked about, can be impacted because email service providers are basically pre-opening and testing different links to make sure that there's no viruses, no scams, nothing like that associated with them, to make sure that they're safe. So that's impacted our open rates. They do that scan of it. So what you really want to work on and watch with your email marketing is your click-through rate. Ideally, you want to see 1% or higher on all emails with a clickable link in them. And what you need to remember here is not all emails will have a clickable link, but if you have a link in there, if your link click rate is under 1% and you've sent it to several hundred people, there's something about that email that's it's just not working. They're not interested in whatever that click is. So you want to look at that and kind of troubleshoot it. You also want to make sure, if it's a delivery email for a opt-in, you want your conversion, your click-through rate to be significantly higher, because people should be clicking to get whatever their freebie is if it's a situation where they need to click. The other thing you're going to want to look at will be your conversion metrics. So you want to understand your sales page, your landing pages, your consult calls. You want to understand that final step of your sales funnel. So you want to know of how many people visit my sales page versus how many people buy? How many people visit my sales page versus click add to cart? How many people add to cart versus complete the purchase? How many people book a consult call versus sign up for your coaching package, etc.? You really want to look at your conversion metrics so that you understand what your conversion rates are. Conversion rates are going to vary based on your niche, your offer, and your experience as an entrepreneur selling. Because I know sometimes selling can feel kind of icky. We don't want to do it. I personally don't like bro marketing tactics. I don't do any of that stuff. I am here to serve. I invite people into my world. I tell them that I can help them. I can help you with your marketing. That is what feels authentic and genuine to me because it is me. I don't want to say, you have to buy by Sunday. Like, that's just not me. Here's this fake discount. Here's this, here's that. Let's not do any of that. So now let's talk about the marketing metrics that don't really matter. So we talked a little bit about this in the beginning, and that is honestly your social media follower count, your social media numbers, even in some ways your podcast downloads, because podcasting, there are better numbers to look at than just your downloads. Now, with that said, I track my downloads and I do look at them, and thank you for downloading, because it's good to know, yes, your downloads are going up or they're going down. But with social media, I don't care, honestly, how many people follow you on any given channel, because your followers don't equal sales. Your followers are just the people who are following you on that channel. It doesn't mean they're coming to your website. So remember when we talked about visibility, we talked about how many people are coming to my website from that channel. And then of those people, how many are getting my opt-in or making a purchase? Those are the numbers that matter. How much your follower count has grown does not matter. It's a vanity metric. Same for YouTube, same for Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Unless you're at the point that you are absolutely monetizing your business based on your social media traffic, your follower count, and all of that really doesn't matter to the bottom line as an entrepreneur. If you are trying to be an influencer, then yes, that's where more of the social media metrics maybe aren't as much vanity related, but as entrepreneurs, follower count, follower growth, all of that is a vanity metric. We also don't necessarily talk just about website traffic for the same reason. Now, an increase in traffic does not always mean an increase in leads and sales, because sometimes we're getting people to the wrong pages. So what I look at and what I teach my students to look at, yes, we look at the percentage share of SEO traffic just so we know overall how are we doing. But I like to take it to that next step, and I like to look and see how many opt-ins, how many sales, and then which pages are getting the traffic. Because I've seen situations where I had one recently. I was working with a client and I was taking a look at their website, and they had a good percentage share of SEO traffic. So at first glance, it was like, okay, you've been doing really well on your own, even though they hadn't done a whole lot. But when I dug in and I looked at it, they had a lot of old podcast episodes that were getting traffic, but there were no opt-ins on those pages. There was nothing for the person to do to work with them or to connect with them. And their pages that were going to be tied to their revenue, their coaching offer, their course, things like that, were not getting organic traffic. So we were getting traffic, but it was not to the pages that were going to tie to revenue, that were going to help them grow their business. I also had another student who had this happen. We actually saw a decrease in her overall website traffic because it was strategic. When she first came to me, she'd been doing SEO on her own. And so she was doing pretty good, but she didn't understand all the numbers. She was confused and was like, help me understand, like, why does it look like this has gone down so much? And it's like, you know what? You don't even need to worry about that, because that traffic that's gone down doesn't tie to revenue anywhere. It doesn't make a difference. So just ignore that. And oh, by the way, don't count on the Search Console report. Let's go to analytics and get the actual true data, because that's more relevant, and that's what I want you to focus on. So we talked about that. What we looked at overall was we need a different strategy because the pages that are getting traffic are not the pages that are going to make you money. So we focused on optimizing the pages that were going to make her money rather than the pages that were getting traffic. So she ended up ultimately with a 52% increase in revenue, which was over $150,000 in extra revenue because we were able to get the coaching page and the home page and the coaching pages to rank higher to drive the right traffic. So we were able to use the right keyword to bring people in who were more interested in paying. So think of it as, do you want the window shopper or do you want the shopper? We don't necessarily want the window shopper. We don't want the person who's just going to come and peek and look. We want the person who we're able to help. So those are the metrics. That's why I say some metrics matter more than others. So the metrics that are going to be the most important from a visibility standpoint are going to be how are people engaging with your website, your leads, your sales, your contact page, your conversion points on your website. That's the most important. When we get into the email funnel, how are they connecting with us and clicking the links in the email? Because that's going to be the most important. We also want to see overall email list growth because that tells us we're increasing the number of leads we have. If you do consult calls, we want to see overall increase in consult calls. And then finally, conversion. What are the conversion points in your business and how are they working? And then remember, if you're doing ads, there's additional complexity because now we need to also make sure we remain profitable. So I know this is a little more involved than some of the episodes that we've talked about. There is a blog post that goes along with this. And then, like I said, this is all the mess we're going to start figuring out inside the Confident Marketers Club. We're going to unravel it. You're going to be able to stop going based on hunches or having those gut feelings that tell you something's not right, but you don't know what it is. I'm going to teach you how to look at all of this to understand and confidently be able to make the decisions like some of my other clients where, I've been doing Pinterest for 3 months, Rachel. I've created 5 pins a day. It's 150 pins a month. I've created almost 500 pins. How is it working? My Pinterest is growing. I'm seeing more people over there. My Pinterest numbers look good. And then when we go to the website, we see, 500 pins has generated 8 visits to the website, and not a single one of them has signed up for an opt-in or a consult call. So that's a lot of work. That's a lot of time and effort. And in that case, she was paying a VA to create all of the pins and to do all of the optimization. So she had spent thousands of dollars on her Pinterest strategy when she could have gotten 8 visits another way for a lot less money. And maybe those people would have been more interested in what she was doing. This is how I ended up with a podcast. Was about 3 years ago. I did this exercise. I went through and I looked and I identified channels that were not working for me. And I freed myself up from them. And I reallocated that time to creating the podcast. It'll be 3 years in February. It's a top 5% podcast. It generates thousands of downloads a month, and it also generates a lot of leads and sales for the business because it's here, it's helpful, it's something that you look forward to each week. And I want you to be able to have that same type of confidence that I had to make that decision because honestly, if I could tell you anything, I wish I had started the podcast sooner based on how much better it worked than some other marketing channels I tried over the years. But that's part of marketing is testing and looking and understanding the data. And that's what I want to teach you how to do because right now, so many people are teaching specific channels, but nobody's really teaching you how to look at the overall picture and put all the pieces together and understand what you need to track to understand what's going on so that I know that this is working. I know this is not working. I know I can let this go. And you're not afraid that if you let this thing go, it's the one thing that was making money for you. So that's the goal here with the Confident Marketers Club is to help you unravel everything that you're working on and really zero in on what works, What doesn't? Free up your time and make more money. All right, that's it for today. I will see you back here in January. If you celebrate the holidays, I hope you have a wonderful holiday break with your family. If family, friends, whoever you celebrate with, your dog. If you don't, I hope you have a great December, and I'll see you back here in January. Bye for now, and I'll see you back here live in a couple of weeks. Well, not live, but you know what I mean. I'll be back here with a new episode in January. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you took away something very actionable that you can start to use in your business right away. If you want any of the freebies that were mentioned, or you want any of my resources or free trainings, you can find those at etchedmarketing.com/freebies. If you would like to work together, I would love to work with you. Send me a note, reply to an email, DM me on Instagram. You know how to find me. I would love to help you grow your business as well. And if you have found this podcast helpful, would you do me the biggest favor and follow it or subscribe on your podcast app of choice, and then give it a rating and review? That really does help. It's just a little something you can do that helps me out in return. I appreciate it so much. I'll see you back here next week.